Hey everyone, Brian Zane here. Before Alex chimes in with her review, I just want to give my brief 2 cents about how weird and how just different this episode of Smackdown was this week in an empty performance center. It was such a trip to see them do this show and have the music and have the lights and everything and have no fans. It was really bizarre. I will give them credit though for not trying to make the show the exact same kind of deal as like a traditional arena Raw or Smackdown. You know, you didn't get a whole lot of big sweeping camera angles. There's no crowd to show for that. When people cut promos, they didn't like take big pregnant pauses to allow for crowd reactions. Seeing people try and play the crowds was just really weird in general. But like I really enjoyed just kind of like, it felt more relaxed. I think it was because everyone kind of knew this is just weird times we're living in, and so I think they're just having more fun with it. That's what I got from like the commentary with Michael Cole and Triple H, with the promo with Roman Reigns. He just felt like he was himself. He just wasn't like trying to make a big talk real big. He sounded like a normal person. The promo with Miz and Morrison after the Chamber match was really entertaining as well. I know some people complain about the Chamber match being replayed in its entirety on this show. I know Alex will also agree with that sentiment. She didn't like it either, but I get why they did it. I mean, you could see what they had to do to try and cover up the fact that this was a different show this week on SmackDown. If they tried to keep that energy going for a full 2 hours, then I would not blame them for wanting to take a little break with that Chamber match. It really makes you wonder what Raw is going to do with that extra time they have, how they're going to try and eat up time at the Performance Center for 3 hours. It kind of reminds me of like the night after the Rumble 2015 when Roman won, and then the next night there was this giant snowstorm that canceled the show, and so they had to like do a different format. That's what this really reminded me of. One part of the show I want to address real quick that Alex didn't actually do in her review was them talking about the Rob Gronkowski rumors, him possibly getting signed. They brought Mojo Rawley with his custom Zubaz blazer to talk about Gronk and everything. How basically they say, yeah, he's still in talks. He's probably gonna get signed, but he wants to do it. And then like Mojo and Triple H just like gang up on Michael Cole. By the way, apparently Mojo's hype again. Great. So all those months of him yelling at himself in a mirror and then doing all the face paint, that's just, it's gone. Just flew away. Anyway, all the credit in the world to the men and women on SmackDown and on 205 Live as well yesterday for just being able to just shake off the weird vibe of this empty arena and just put on a full, you know, wrestle at the level they wrestle every night as if there was a full crowd there and not even missing a step. I think that's really to be commended. They're able to do that for the love of wrestling. I credit to WWE for really making the best out of a bad situation. The language they use in which they try and fade coronavirus, I thought that was interesting too, where they're just like, you know, they say in these strange times, like they didn't want to make one mention of it. And you know, I get why they did that. Their purple prose was very interesting for that reason. But I would have to say overall, very interesting episode of SmackDown. This is going to be a weird couple of weeks if this is what they do with their Raws and SmackDowns from here on out. And also raises a lot of questions for Mania. And I know that I've got some stuff going on in Tampa. A lot of it's on the line right now. Stay tuned to the channel for more updates on what's going to happen, because I don't even know yet, and it really all depends on the future of Mania and also WrestleCon as well. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, without further ado, I'm done talking. Here's Alex.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Smackdown review here on Wrestling with Wregret. My name is Alex, your self-proclaimed Queen of the Ring. What a bizarro SmackDown episode we had from the Performance Center. Again, thanks to the coronavirus. So how did it all play out with no audience? Let's just jump right into it. So because of the coronavirus, this week's episode of SmackDown was supposed to take place in Detroit, but they moved it to the Performance Center. And the show opened up with Triple H introducing the Performance Center, which at first was a little weird, but made sense. They're on Fox now, so the mainstream audience probably doesn't even know what the Performance Center is. So it was a great way to put the facility over and saying that all of the superstars have made it here and they come back and this will be a different kind of show, which, yeah, it was a different kind of show. Although I will say, and maybe this is just because I'm going to Tampa or was supposed to go to Tampa, but they did not address anything about WrestleMania being postponed, being canceled, which I understand they are not going to make the announcement on SmackDown Live, but pretty sure we're heading down that road if they're moving SmackDown to the Performance Center, and this Monday night, Raw is also going to be in the Performance Center. So maybe that's just me, but it would be really nice to know what the hell is going on with WrestleMania especially 2 weeks before WrestleMania, so I can cancel stuff. But that's just me. I know I'm totally speaking for myself, and I'm probably speaking to a little bit of people that are going down to Tampa. We kick off the show with Sasha and Bayley coming out, and we thought that Paige was going to come out and confront Bayley, but it just so happened that Paige had some travel issues. Paige couldn't make it to the show, so Bayley and Sasha come out, they cut the promo, and they say, you know, they don't really need an audience. Whether it's an audience of 1,000 people or an audience of 0, they still run the place. They still are the best in their division. Also, Triple H joined Michael Cole on commentary, and wow, what a trip. Triple H on commentary all night. We're going to get into it. But then Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross come out to interrupt Sasha Banks and Bayley and tell them, look, we never got an answer for the Kabuki Warriors, but you guys are here, so we're going to challenge you. And therefore, we have the match, Alexa Bliss teaming up with Nikki Cross to take on Sasha Banks and Bayley. Match was okay, but I do have to admit, it was a little weird not having the audience there. You can clearly hear them calling the moves in the match. It was also bizarre to have Nikki Cross rile up the crowd when there was no crowd there, especially at the time where she was stomping on the stairs. Like, girl, there's no one there. And I get you can't break habit, especially when these athletes have been performing for how many days in a year, so many days or in front of such a big crowd, and now to perform to a crowd of nobody, I'm sure it is hard to break that habit of just trying to get a pop, rile up your teammate, and have a good match. And not to say that this wasn't a good match, but it was bizarre. It did have to get a little getting used to just hearing everything in the ring. But then at one point, Asuka comes out and attacks Alexa Bliss on the outside, leading Nikki Cross to tap out to Sasha Banks in the bank statement. Therefore, Sasha Banks and Bayley get the win. It was an all right match, like I said, but it is cool to see that they are going to advance this whole feud with the Kabuki Warriors and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Although I really don't want Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to get those titles again, because to see them with the titles in their moment of bliss, talk show, drinking coffee, I don't want to see that again. God, please bring back the Iconics. Following that, we have Michael Cole sitting down in the ring to have an interview with Roman Reigns to promote his very, very, very potential match at WrestleMania, which is now the main event of WrestleMania. Is WrestleMania still happening? We don't know. Coronavirus, let us know. But they have an interview, and it's pretty much just Roman showing off his mic skills. And I do have to applaud his mic skills tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not really much of a fan of Roman, but he impressed me. I liked it. I actually listened to him speak tonight. And maybe it wasn't because he had to show off to an audience. I don't know. It was very interesting to see the art of wrestling stripped down in this way. And I actually enjoyed this episode of Smackdown, especially with this segment. And Roman says that Goldberg just isn't ready. He's a part-timer. He's a full-timer. It just doesn't compare. It isn't just about one move. He has learned the craft, the art of this, and he's ready to take on Goldberg at WrestleMania, if WrestleMania even is happening. Ugh, but not much going on here. Just a quick, easy breezy interview. Roman comes out. He shines pretty bright. Good job. Following that, we have two backstage segments. So the first one is Kayla Braxton about to interview someone, and Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura come out, and they think that they're going to be interviewed because Sami Zayn is the new Intercontinental Champion, and they need to celebrate, but Kayla says that they've been bumped, and it's actually Jeff Hardy. So Jeff is being interviewed, asking how does it feel to come back to the WWE, his grand return. And of course, King Corbin comes out of nowhere and says that he is the king of SmackDown and he needs to put peasants like Jeff Hardy in line. And Jeff Hardy says he actually has a big match tonight. Corbin mocks him, but Jeff says, actually, that big match is with you. So Later on in the night, we get Jeff Hardy versus King Corbin. Now, the second backstage segment is Daniel Bryan going up to Drew Gulak, and they talk about their match that they had at the Elimination Chamber, and Daniel Bryan says, you actually did a pretty good job in the match. I would like you to teach me your ways. They get interrupted by Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And Sami Zayn says, pretty funny how we invited you into our little stable and now you want to hang with this nobody. Daniel Bryan tries to get into Sami's face, but Cesaro cuts in front. Daniel Bryan says, my problem isn't with you, Cesaro. My problem is with Sami. Cesaro says, then you got a problem with me. Boom, match. Later that night, Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, which was great match. But we'll get to that in 1 second. Following that, they just showed the Elimination Chamber tag match. That was it. That was the next segment. I get it. They had to fill a huge hole. I'm sure most of the talent that usually are at SmackDown did not arrive at the Performance Center tonight. But maybe cut the show short or do something else. That was a con for me. Holy crap. Now, following that, we had a real match that actually happened tonight, and that's Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro. So this match was good. It was expected to be good. I mean, it's Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. Of course, it's going to be a good match. Of course, it's going to be a fun match. And it was. Dude, Cesaro's uppercuts are insane. Also, Sami Zayn hopped on commentary and joined Triple H and Michael Cole. And Sami Zayn and Triple H getting at it with each other for some reason reminds me of Bobby Heenan and Rowdy Piper getting at each other, specifically at SummerSlam 92 or 93, I want to say. It was somewhere in the early 90s where they were both on commentary. I remember it was during the match between Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect. For some reason, they reminded me of that commentary during that match. So later down the road, if Triple H wants to jump on commentary and Sami Zayn maybe wants to take a break in wrestling, they should consider those two a commentary team. I'd like to see it. What do you guys think? Overall, a pretty fun match, a good match. Daniel Bryan got the win, and I am hoping that we continue this feud/alliance with Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan. I really like them together, and Drew Gulak is finally getting some screen time. He's finally shining bright like a diamond, like the diamond that he was born to be. You love to see it. Following that, we have the match with Jeff Hardy and King Corbin, and it was a squash match. Real quick squash match. Before the bell rings, King Corbin brawls with Jeff Hardy, throws him around. They get into the ring. Alliance is on commentary. And dude, Triple H on commentary. What a pro. I'll get to the pro section on that in 1 second. But man, amazing. But Elias is on commentary with Triple H. And King Corbin is distracted. And he's talking mad shit to Elias on commentary. And is completely distracted with the match. Therefore, Jeff Hardy wins. It was a simple match. It was a quick match, easy match. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy wins. And I guess now we're going to have a feud with Corbin and Elias. And last but not least, we have John Cena come out to the ring. He threw a towel. He threw a towel into the audience. There was no audience, but he still threw his towel, and he gets to the ring. Michael Cole interviews him and talks about his match at WrestleMania against The Fiend. And John Cena thinks that The Fiend isn't someone to invest in. People that are worthy of the investment is Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Rhea Ripley, Velveteen Dream, and of course, Vince McMahon told him to drop Drew McIntyre's name just because he's going after the title against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Dude, for John Cena to say that The Fiend isn't much of an investment, yet The Fiend has had an amazing run. I mean, granted, a lot of people don't agree with his title run. The Fiend's title run was boring to some people, but his character, his gimmick is the most interesting thing that's on the main roster right now. You don't think that he's worthy of the investment? Then the Fiend comes out, or rather Bray Wyatt. Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt comes out, and I love the way that he came out. It wasn't a video. All you heard was his Joker-like laugh, and he came out through the audience. He came out through the crowd, and he told him that John Cena is so privileged. He has it all, and he's just addicted to the spotlight. And apparently John Cena took something from him when they had their match together at WrestleMania 30. Seems to me like they're trying to make this as though it was a long-term booking kind of thing. I don't really buy this match, dude. The Fiend should have kept the Universal title. The Fiend should have gone into WrestleMania as champion. Maybe have the feud against Roman. I don't know, dude. But this feud is okay. You know, Bray Wyatt is doing a great job. John Cena does his best. And that was it. That was this week's coronavirus infested episode of SmackDown. So overall, how did it all play out? If I was going to give this episode, this bizarro SmackDown episode, a grade, I would give it a C+. And the plus is all for Triple H. Triple H, during commentary, was shooting at the hip. He was shooting left and right on anybody, even on himself being demoted. Apparently he's been demoted, and I would definitely mark that as a pro. A pro for this week's episode of SmackDown was Triple H. I also want to give a pro to this stripped down version of SmackDown, just the essence of it being stripped down and just enjoying the art that is wrestling. I'm sure if we put all those matches on mute, it would be a little bit better. And also, we probably wouldn't even notice that there was no audience in the crowd. It was really good. It was nice to see that they came back to the Performance Center and they handled the show accordingly with the situation that is happening in the world right now. Although it would be really nice if they mentioned anything about WrestleMania, because that is 2 weeks away and a lot of people need to start getting refunds, start canceling their flights, start canceling their hotels, Airbnbs, all that mumbo jumbo. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people do not want to scramble for a whole week to try to cancel things. So I guess if I was going to have a con, it would definitely be not addressing anything about WrestleMania. And that's it. Those are my thoughts on this week's episode of SmackDown. But what are your thoughts? Make sure to leave a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. And if you like watching me doing all these SmackDown reviews, hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there in the little description box, the link to my channel, Queen of the Ring, will be down below. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at _Queen of the Ring on Instagram, and I'm at a Queen of the Ring on Twitter. And remember, please wash your hands and take care of each other, and just be so much more cautious about your space during this weird time of the coronavirus. As always, guys, my name is Alex, your self-proclaimed Queen of the Ring. Be safe, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!